The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to Couch Live. Hello, everybody. You are on the Problem Solving Network here with the Street Certified Dope Dr. Louis Delgado and, of course, my partner right here, Trinity Phillips, the Dharma Guy.
What's going on? I'm ready to stream some solutions today, man.
Yeah, Trinity, I forgot to start recording, but that's okay. I did it now.
Well, then there you go. That's what matters.
You
Nothing
know?
but
I was getting distracted, Trinity.
You know
There's
what?
my face. Now that you can see me.
There you
Hello.
go.
Hello, everybody. Like I said, I am the Street Certified Dope Dr. Louis Delgado along with Dharma Guy. Not on, but does Dharma Time Tuesdays at 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir, I do.
Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. You can hear
There you go, man.
Dharma Time. Anyway, it's a little confusing, man. It's this monster hasn't kicked in yet. I'm doing the
Right.
South Florida recovery diet today. A little shout out to these people because this stupid flu bug or sickness that
The pollen is messing me up.
whatever
Hardcore, man.
this is,
Yeah.
it's causing me to do this every once in a while. This
Yeah.
that little tickle in the back of your throat that makes you cough.
I know.
Everybody's telling me it lasts for months. I'm sick of it. I'm
But
so sick. I'm
that's
sick
why-
of blowing my nose. I'm sick of coughing. What?
That's why I have the mug that my wife got me.
What is the
so
mug?
I can drink water, so I can try to help with that little tickle.
Oh man,
in
I'm
the
so
back.
sick of this tickle.
And for those of you who don't know,
Whatever.
I showed it on Dharma Time, but I don't know which one she watches all the time. So
Here, wait. Let me
Okay.
show you. Hold on. I'm not showing it. You know. So for our YouTube audience, you want to show it. Show it again right here.
respect the beard.
Yeah, respect the beard. Here.
My
You done?
wife got me that one, so
Aw.
that's what
Are
that
you
helps
trying to
with
get- are
it.
you
That
trying to
helps
get
with
points?
I am actually. That's what helps with the tickle for me because the same thing, and it's worse because it's pollen, man. The Florida snow, like hacking up lungs and stuff, man.
Fix your tickle, people. Fix your tickle.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, so tell everybody what we're talking about today, Trini.
Well, today we're there. You go. See. Well, first off, I do have to say that every time I ask a question about our intro,
Right.
I'm like blown away by the answer.
What?
The first question I asked is I thought that it's Louie or Hey Louie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was Denise, and I was wrong.
That's funny.
And then was just get on the couch. I thought that was you, and I was wrong.
Right.
So I'm gonna just stop assuming things about our intro there.
You should know better than to assume anything,
Touche.
Trinity.
Well
you
played.
are Dharma Guy.
There you go.
Dharma Guy shouldn't assume. Dharma Guy just it
I
is
was
what
m-
it is.
I was making an inference because I thought
Whoa,
it
damn.
sounded like
As soon as
you. It
start
really
using-
did.
Yeah, but as soon as you start using those
But
big words.
anyways-
Anyway, you know what? Don't even tell us what we're talking about yet.
Oh,
Trinity,
see, I was getting ready to get into
no,
it.
tell us about the sponsors first, and then we'll talk about what we're.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do your whole sponsor. I like the way you do the sponsor deal. Tell everybody why we're able to be on for an hour straight, no commercial interruption, here on the Couch Live on WPSN99.com.
Well,
Does that sound real radio for you?
it did. Sunday.
Sunday.
No, we had some great sponsors. You know, we have a ton of people out there who have treatment facilities, and some are great, and some are not so great.
Some suck.
Yeah, and we're fortunate enough to have found some great ones in our
Right.
sponsors. Which I'll say the first one is Retreat Premier Addiction Centers,
Yeah.
Addiction Treatment Centers. It's like a mouthful. Every
Yeah,
time.
it is. It's a long one.
And we've had both of them on this show before.
Mm-hmm.
The top dog himself, Peter Shore, and we've also had actually we've had all three of them. Peter Shore, we've had John Shooter, the Brit, and we've had Garofolo on here, which is my personal favorite. Which
Yeah.
we're going to get him on Dharma Time one of these days.
Right.
But no, they're good people. They have multiple locations. We almost saw the one I almost saw the one in West Palm.
Yep.
But I believe they are in network, which is one of the things that make them very interesting to go to. And then, of course, we have Journey Pure, which I'm biased because Mr. Dunn is a Notre Dame fan. So yes, I know I'm biased. I can't help it. Right. But Journey Pier, and we just saw their IOP down here in Orlando not too long ago, and it is awesome. Yeah. I like it. Good people doing.
Well, I've been up to the Nashville. I've been to all these places.
Yeah, what's up with that, dude? I had Vance on my show, and yet I still haven't been able to see the river. It's just called the river. And actually, Tennessee was one of my favorite vacation places, so I'm a little offended.
I'm sorry.
Just gonna put that out there.
Just gotta, they really only require one of us to evaluate the treatment.
Apparently, I haven't got my doctorate yet, so I'm not the doctor. So there's that.
Look, you'll go next visit. Next visit, sure. You're going.
We need to do the couch from there.
We're going to do the couch live from Nashville, Tennessee,
we need
and we're going to do the couch live from Pennsylvania and go see Steve Moderano, one of the other hosts of a show here on WPSN99.com of Recovery Radio.
Yeah.
We'll go see him in Pennsylvania and go do a show from up there, and then we'll go do a show from West Palm down there at the retreat in West Palm.
And we can't forget.
I want to do one from Orlando though. I want to do one from the IOP as well.
The Journey Pier one?
Yeah, I want to do it in their yoga room.
There you go.
Once they finish their yoga
that's
room.
the air-conditioned one, too, by the way. So.
I've never really seen a yoga room
at
a treatment center, so I want to see a yoga room.
And, of course, we can't forget Orange County. Orange County with Carol Burkett and the whole crew down there.
Right.
They are always amazing. And then, of course, as you can see the shirt that I have on currently.
Yeah, show the back. Can you show the back of that as well?
Sure.
Do you mind?
I don't mind.
To this camera right here?
Why not?
Okay. See that? That's our new... Now Matters More foundation shirt. It says why wait on the back.
Yeah.
Because now does matter more, people.
It does.
So why wait? This is the shirt that we're giving out for the golf tournament here in March 19th.
It will be in the swag bags.
Right. Special thanks to our major sponsors like Rivermend, Novus Detox. God, man, you got to go through these faster. Darryl Strawberry Recovery Center.
There's a ton of them.
Serenity Springs Recovery Centers.
Yes.
I'm missing one.
Novus Detox?
I already said Novus.
Oh, see?
I'm missing one of them.
Oh, gosh. My phone.
Just the event.
My Oracle. We have, was it Westgate and Victoria's Voice?
That's title sponsors.
Yeah.
Westgate and Victoria's Voice and, what do you call it? The cars. Don Mealy. Sports Mazda.
Oh, they are awesome, by the way.
They are phenomenal. But I'm still missing one of the major sponsors. One of the event sponsors.
That is no bueno, man.
That isn't. I said Darryl Strawberry. I said Novus. I said Rivermend. Oh, Marshall Bank. Bark. Matthews Bark.
There you go.
PA.
Yeah, the lawyer, right?
Matthews Bark, PA, attorney.
We're going to have him on the show hopefully next week.
Next week, Matthews Bark is going to. And it is Matthews with an S.
Okay.
It's plural. It's not Matthew. I guess his mom knew early on that he was just going to be more than just one man. He was going to be a Superman, and she pluralized his name. It's Matthews Bark.
There you go. And he's going to be on next week, and I am fired up. I got a lot to say about next week.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Right.
So I got a lot to say about next week. So for those of you listening now, listen obviously for this show, but next week is going to be a doozy, I believe.
Are you trying to tease them? Tell them what we're going to talk about next week?
I am.
Well, tell them what we're going to talk about.
Next week we're going to talk about when somebody when it comes to the drug world, when somebody overdoses or when somebody is caught with drugs, should you or should you not, or how important is it to go after the dealers for murder charges, things of that nature? That's part of it.
You complicated that whole topic.
Hey, man, I'm fired up. I got a lot to say.
How are you fired up about it when you can't even verbalize?
I got a lot to say.
What we're even going to talk about?
I have a lot to say on it. That's why. I'm fired up about
Listen, let me talk to. I'm going to talk to this camera right here.
That's why you're the doctor.
Yeah, that's why you didn't get invited to Nashville. By the way,
I'm just the co here. I'm not the host.
Yeah. There you go. If we were on Dharma time, you would have said it perfectly. I'm sure, but because we're on the couch live, you go.
I'm deferring.
That tickle.
Oh,
There's that tickle.
Tickle.
Take care of the tickle. No, folks, here's what we're going to talk about next week. Next week, with Matthews Bark here on the air, we're actually going to talk about, do we focus more on incarceration and punishment, or do we focus more on treatment? Like which direction is actually what our end goal really is? For anyone with drug or alcohol problems, they're both incarceration.
Sure.
So let me get the word incarceration.
Supply or demand.
But punitive measures or treatment measures. Now remember, if you arrest me and make me go to treatment, I might feel that's punitive anyway.
Sure.
But some of you like the kind of punitive that just says, sit in your cell and do nothing, no TV, no nothing, and just communicate and be violated. Okay. And some people, that's what they want. They want harsh punishment.
Sure.
So we're going to talk about that. Harsh punishment where you actually do nothing, get nothing, no rehabilitation, no treatment, nothing. You just kind of just sit for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years until you're finally able to get out. Or do we have some sort of treatment programs within these institutions that kind of force you to actually focus on some things, do some homework, do some self-work, whatever. Just some sort of rehabilitation rather than just sitting there doing nothing. There's just so much not to do in jail. It's just too easy to, especially in county. In county, there's like nothing to do. At least in state prisons and federal prisons, there's at least activities and things that you can do some of the time. Whereas in a county jail, you're just there.
Sure.
So anyway, today's show. Trinity, tell everybody what today's show. Let me get back to your camera angle. There you go. Go ahead.
So today's show was, as we all know, we have a massive drug epidemic at the moment. We have 175 people dying a day here in the U.S.
That may be going down.
It may be going down.
It may be going down. Yesterday I learned that.
Well, it's upwards of 63,000 a year, and actually we found out, what was it, a week or two ago, that we are, here in Orange County, we're supposedly the number one per capita in the country for drug overdoses, which I'm not sure if I'm proud of that, but
yay, Orlando.
Yeah. Anyways.
Mickey Mouse.
So the discussion today, in which I posted and you posted on multiple different groups, and thank you for those of you who actually answered and gave us your thoughts. We'll do our best to discuss them today. But essentially, we were trying to figure out is we have such an epidemic. Everybody knows about it. It's all over the news. Politics. They're all talking about it. There's all sorts of laws coming out here and there. So if that's the case, then why are there so many treatment facilities that aren't completely packed? Why are there so many beds available in a lot of these facilities?
Yeah, why are they not full to capacity, right?
Yes.
And I mean, it's ridiculous.
Some would refer to that as barriers to entry, I guess. What are the barriers that are keeping them from that?
Wow.
There you go.
Where did you get that?
It's barriers to entry, man.
We've been talking about this for days, and this is the first time I heard you use that. I like that.
You obviously didn't read my postings because I posted on there barriers to entry.
I did not see that, barriers to entry.
That stings a little bit. You didn't read my
No. You know the reason I didn't read your postings? I read one or two of them because these people, let's talk about this for a second.
Sure.
For those people that are on Facebook and stuff and part of these little groups, these addiction groups, these recovery groups, well, let me tell you something. I got to say something.
I like it.
I got to say something. For those of you that start a group, and you say you're there for people in recovery, you're for the business of recovery, you're helping people connect or find treatment, and then you delete posts that aren't trying to sell anything, simply trying to ask a question so that we can get information from real people who suffer from this disease or have family members who have suffered from this disease. But you delete it. You don't even post it or you don't even accept it. Yeah. And I'm going to start calling out some of you specifically by name if you continue to do that, because here's what I think. I think you're a friggin' phony. I think you're a liar. I think you might be a body broker, and because we're not sending people to your treatment center, you're deleting our posts. That's what I think. So we'll talk more about it on air. But I'm gonna get to the point, Trinity, where I'm gonna start calling out some of these people that I think are like internet body brokers.
Right.
That act like they're here for people and act like they want to help people, but in reality, their page is only for what they have to say.
Right.
And here's the reason why. We have a page, yet if you post something that we feel, like there's a guy that posted recently about this Narcan giveaway that he was doing. Okay. We didn't delete it. We left it on our page. Do we know him? No. He's talking about a Narcan giveaway. We looked at it, read it. Look, how is that bad?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is it's interesting because they'll be in some of these groups. I see people talking about it, and if you speak to them in person at all, or whatever, they're always like, "Well, nobody listens to us, and this is a problem. We need to fix it."
Right.
But then people like, "All right, well, let's discuss a problem." No, I'm gonna delete your thing.
Yeah.
We're like, well, then stop.
It's because I think some of these people have another agenda.
Of course.
You know,
that's the obvious one, right?
Right. You know, so I'm gonna start calling them out in a little bit, and don't be shocked, and don't get mad at me later on when I start calling out some of you guys on Facebook or whatever for you acting like you're there for people, but all you're really to do is just. Yeah, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. That's another show, and they're just gonna hype me up and get me upset.
Fire it up.
Yeah, man. No, what we're talking about today is what is the problem. Now, I feel like I have.
You totally just did the ghetto thing. What is the problem?
Oh, I did a black girl thing, didn't I? I've been hanging around Lemon Squeeze.
You started moving your head too. What is the problem?
I can't even do it, man. I was just thought you were gonna try. I'm a Mexican, man. I should be.
That's awesome.
But I want to smash someone's skull
Yeah,
because I feel there's the volatile. I need some Dharma time. I need some Dharma time.
But you know what? Though? I can
Let me do a little
get fired up too because I have similar experiences when I went to the Buddhism group.
It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, man.
It's just, for some of us that we've dedicated our entire life to help people find access to treatment, afford it, raise money. You know how hard it is to raise money for people to go.
Yeah,
and then there's clowns out there that just keep sucking us dry. And that is actually one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons we're going to talk about today is, all right, so if there's so many people in dire need of addiction treatment, then why aren't all these treatment centers full to capacity? So let's break it down. That's what we're talking about today. And we're going to have Will Wesh on with us from Novus Detox, because since he's a standalone detox, which isn't treatment, he's coming from a totally different perspective. And I think I think he'll give us a good little perspective on some things that I think he'll mimic some of the stuff I'm talking about. But let's go down some of the things, Trinity, that we saw. Number one, Trinity, the biggest one. Do you want to say any of these before I start rattling out what some of these answers were?
Well, I'll give you my personal ones then.
You want to do that first?
We'll start there. Why not?
Okay.
Because they're going to mimic a lot of them anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
So when this first came up, I don't remember how. I think it was just in conversation, and you mentioned it to me. I gave my first two. One was heavier than the other. Right. And you gave me an interesting perspective on the second one, so I'm not leaning that way as much anymore. But my first two thoughts were, number one, money. People are just broke. Insurance or not, it's hard to come up with money. When you hear how expensive treatment can be for some of these places, when you hear the thousands of dollars it takes to go,
right?
Most people just don't have it. And then even with insurance, a lot of times you don't have the deductibles. We heard this one individual had a $25,000 deductible. I mean, who has that laying around? Especially if you're dealing with addiction.
We're trying to help someone right now with a $20,000 deductible.
Yeah, it's insane. So, my first thought was just money. People don't have the money to do it. It's expensive, and it's hard to get into. Right. And then the other one that came to mind was some of them just don't want it. A lot of people just don't want to go to treatment. And the reason why I kind of modified my way of thinking after talking to you was you kind of mentioned just pure numbers, right? If there's, let's say I think it was 28 million families are affected by drug and alcohol addiction. Right. And so out of that 28 million, if they all just said yes, if they all said that they wanted to go, we're not equipped to handle that at the moment.
No way.
But even if, for everyone that doesn't want to go, there's like one or two that do want to go.
Right.
And so out of that one or two, there's millions, and we're not packed. So obviously, the fact that they don't want to go is just a small fraction of it, and it's not really the reason why they're not packed. Because as you pointed out, the ones that are free, they've got a waiting list. Yeah. And I know for a fact, because we had somebody who was related to us in a familiar way, try to get them into treatment, and they went and talked to the place, and they said, "Well, come back in like 30 days." Right. I'm dealing with addiction. I'm afraid I'm going to die. And you're telling me to leave and come back in 30 days. Right. I might not be alive in 30 days.
Exactly. So let's address that one first. So because there are quite a few people, a matter of fact, the number two reason that people mentioned on all the sites that we posted this question on was they don't think they need it or they don't want it. Yeah. So all right. So let's address that, because I do agree that there's a lot of individuals that you may run into. And there's a lot of individuals that I know we've spoken to that may not really want it, or they're not ready to go. Yeah. It's not their time, right? Yeah. For whatever reason, even though we'd like it to be their time. The judge sometimes would like it to be their time. Their wife or their husband may want it to be their time. Their kids, their family, whatever. However, in their mind, they're not ready. However, that's is many people that appears to be. Like I was telling you, there's still millions of people. Yeah. There's still hundreds of thousands of people suffering, and that wouldn't answer the question as to why there's so many. We have these large 6-month waiting lists at some of the free places. Yeah. That if it was about people not wanting to go, the free places wouldn't have a waiting list either. Those would be just as empty as the cost places. Yeah. So if you look at the difference between the free places and you look at the for-profit or the cost, the pay-to-play kind of places, right. Money. Yeah. Which was the number one answer most people gave. Money, money, money. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, what the interesting part was, hands down, the money reason was it was interesting that people who are in the treatment world somehow, some way are connected to it. They said money.
Right.
And even the people who aren't connected in any way, shape, or form said money. Like, hands down, that seemed to be the consensus was money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. I mean, you're talking about the number is amazing of how many people brought up money.
Yeah. Because it's expensive.
You know, because I think we all know that financially, treatment is not cheap.
No.
And you brought up something, so I want to touch on that before we get Will on. You had said something about, because your perspective comes a little bit different.
Sure.
You've even though you have been working in the field of addiction and treatment, as a person that hasn't owned a treatment center, or you haven't been financially responsible for one, you had a different perspective on the amount of money.
Yeah, well,
that some of these places cost. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think some people might share that opinion with you. Because, as a matter of fact, I know they do. Because some of the things where they just don't care. You know, the treatment centers just don't care. Right. That they're too expensive. The treatment centers have become a revolving door and a temporary fix. That we need alternatives instead of just treatment.
Right. Well, I'll address one of those immediately. Right. I got to be honest, I was absolutely shocked when I found out how many scholarships are given out. Like, I wasn't aware of that. Like, you do, when you're not in the ownership role, and this is just life in general, right? As employees and owners and things of that nature, even in my own self, starting my business, people just don't realize how much you work and how many hours you put into it. So, coming from the employee perspective or from the non-ownership perspective, you kind of don't understand all the ins and outs of what goes on with it. And you start to think, especially in the recovery world, you think that they're just money hungry. They want to, they just want to charge astronomical amounts of money, whatever. I was shocked to find out, because we've now met, easily over 100 facility owners and whatnot, and every single one of them talk about how many scholarships they give.
Yeah.
Like how much free treatment they actually give or discounted treatment. Right. And so I was shocked when I found that out. I really would not have gotten that one.
There's almost always someone at their facility that's currently being scholarshiped.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. I would have lost that bet.
Well, they can't advertise it, because if they do, then everybody wants it free.
Of course. And so but the question I basically posed to you was, why? Why does treatment, like some of these facilities I've heard of, are like $30,000 a month? Why? I mean, that's a year's salary for some people to go. They work their butts off for a year to take care of their family, and you're wanting that in a month.
Right.
And so I think it's hard to wrap your head around that concept when you know the value of $30,000 in your life compared to 1 month of treatment. And I get the idea that you got to pay people and you got to keep things running and stuff like that. Maybe I think that's part of the problem is people don't realize how expensive some of these licenses and everything else are. But it just reminds me of when you hear the government paying, like $7,000 for a hammer or like $100,000 for a toilet. It's like, come on, dude, like that's just gouging. That's ridiculous.
If it was that, I would jump right in with you.
But that's what it feels like from this end. It's like $35,000 for a month, dude. Right. Like, wow. And I'm not saying they all are $35,000.
Well, you're talking real high end if you're saying $35,000. More like 24, 25.
But even still, $24,000. People were living on that in a year.
Correct.
So it's just
not very well though.
No, but some aspects of government think they should.
Yeah.
But that's a different discussion.
Yeah, no. Well, the issue is this, and I want to address that then, because as a treatment owner for so many years, I knew the nut that I had to carry or had to cover at the beginning of the month for a residential place. I know what I had to cover for an outpatient place. So at different levels, it's a different number. However, the number was still a big number.
Yeah. Well, when you told me, I was like, what?
Dude, even for my outpatient center that I had, I remember the nut one time was I'm just going to give you round numbers. I'm not going to get into too many details, but an office was like $10,000. So I had to get $10,000 in. Now, when you're getting that from each individual session that you have is a blankety blank number, is a flat number or whatever it is, or, I didn't take insurance. It was all self-pay. But you still, how many clients did you have to see before you got the $10,000? And then now I have bills to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to get paid. Secretary has to get paid. Phone has to get paid. Electric has to get paid. In other words, there's a lot of risk attached to any business.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that in order for some people to dedicate their entire lives to saving lives, there's education. There's risking their own bills being paid.
Yep.
They can't do. If you did it all for free, then nobody's getting paid. If nobody's getting paid, you can't eat. If you can't eat and can't live, then you're homeless.
Yeah. And it's important to realize that not every single one of them are driving around in Ferraris.
They're actually not. The ones that were, and we were all shocked from this actually, was the ones that were doing the criminal stuff. When we saw some of that, all of a sudden they were driving around these big cars. We were like all shocked because in our business that has never been the thing. A matter of fact, here's the thing. Have you ever heard, hey man, I'm going to become a therapist because I'm going to get rich? No. I mean, if you had a kid that's going to tell you I'm going to be a therapist, you're thinking, look, you're just going to do that because you love it. You're not doing that for money. Yeah. Right? So don't think that anyone ever came into the helping profession think they're going to be rich unless you're thinking doctor, and even then you're thinking you're going to work a lot of hours just to make that money. You're probably never really going to enjoy that money. You're going to work your butt off, and there's a lot of liability. Well, the fact that there came to be a lot of money in this industry was for other reasons.
Right.
You know, it's not because we're charging $24,000 for that 30 days because the physician costs money, the therapist costs money, the techs cost money, the facility costs money. There's so many bills to be paid. The food costs money, the housing, the beds, the licensing, the insurance, the liabilities, the liability insurances, the malpractice insurances, all the coverages, the vehicles. Everything you do costs so much money if you want to do it right, Trinity.
Sure.
You know, hey, look, I had hired you. That cost alone of hiring you, where's that money supposed to come from? You know, I could have not hired you and charged less. Right? No, I hired you. I had a person coming in doing yoga. I had a physician that I felt was qualified enough that knew what he was doing. I could have got a tomato doctor that didn't know anything.
Well, how much of that's what I thought was crazy was how much the licensing cost.
All of it.
The licensing by itself is like, what?
Well, just everything together, Trinity, when you just look at everything,
it's
just
insane.
When you add it all together, just, you know what? The food itself, Trinity, at the end of the day, just the food is a large nut.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you something. The biggest complaint that a lot of people have when they go to treatment centers is I didn't like the food.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can feed them some cheap old food.
Sure.
And then now, if you really believe in what you believe, you want to feed them organic stuff or nutritious stuff with good proteins. You want to have it done correctly. Sure. Well, that costs more money. I don't want you to just have a regular counselor, a therapist. I want you to have the best that we have, somebody that actually understands and gets this and can help you. Well, that's going to cost me more money than just hiring somebody just because they have a license.
Yeah.
I want a physician that actually knows what they're doing, not somebody that's going to kill you. I want a facility that's comfortable. I don't want you complaining about, the walls are this, it's too cold, it's too hot, it doesn't work, this never works.
Right.
I want to have a pool. I want you to have somewhere that you can enjoy yourself. I want you to have some grounds to be able to walk around. In other words, every layer that you add to wanting someone to have a comfortable experience, because it's already uncomfortable being in addiction. It's already so uncomfortable. You have to try to make them comfortable, but you also want to make it very therapeutic, and people cost money. Now, if all of you want to work for free, call me and I'll open up another treatment center tomorrow. If you're a licensed therapist that actually knows how to do this and you want to work for free full-time, call me. If you're a physician and you want to work for free full-time, call me. If you want to give us a building and give it to us for free and you pay the taxes and you pay all the bills for it, the electric and water, then call me.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about
and even then,
giving it all away. Or even then, here, Trinity, how about this? How many times have we seen people do a GoFundMe page to pay for, like, you know, I just want to do a trip to Italy and can raise $3,000, $5,000 overnight just because they want to go to Italy.
Yeah.
And then we go, I want to save a life. Someone's dying today, and I can only raise $150.
Yeah.
So we may all say it's about money, but you know what? It's not. It's not about the treatment centers being, obnoxiously desirable of all the money. It's the average day person doesn't want to give money. We'll give money to cancer. We'll give money to autism. We'll give money to dogs. Dogs, forget it. Animals, pets, forget it. I can raise millions of dollars for pets.
Dogs and kids, man.
Jeez. But when it comes to the addict, there's so much anger and disgust and frustration and blame and stigma that it prevents people from wanting to donate that money.
For donations wise, yeah. But I didn't hear a lot of that from the answers. What I heard mostly was just, we don't have the money as a society.
Well, there was some people blaming the facilities and blaming the government.
Sure.
So there was a lot of that. When it came to the money, people were saying they blaming the insurance companies, blaming the government, or blaming the treatment facilities.
Well, and for the government, I think it was, I won't
no names.
They mentioned, is that really the government's job to pay for treatment? And I think that's a good question.
I think not normally, no. But I think that if we're going to say something's once we call something a crisis, remember I like to call it tent city.
Yeah.
Once we go into a point where we're saying this is an epidemic or a crisis,
Well,
then that's when you open up the floodgates in the 10
public
cities.
Health.
So what I would argue at that point is you contact every treatment facility and you say, one of your beds are now ours. We'll pay your fee
Right.
for one of your beds. If every private institution gives us a bed for a good, fair cost, if we would actually have that conversation, like if we would talk to Will Wesh, we're going to talk to in a few seconds, from Novus Detox, and say, listen, we need one of your beds at all times for the next 365 days.
Right.
Give us a good price, and we'll pay that price.
Sure.
Then Will's going to go back to his team. He's going to go talk to Bryn. Bryn's the CEO over there, and she's going to sit there and try to figure out the numbers, and she's going to say, like, this is the bottom line that we can do for this bed.
Right.
Then we as a government sign the check and say, here you go. Now we have one more bed, one more detox bed. Now that's just one place. How many of those places are there empty beds? There should not be an empty bed right now, is what I'm saying. If you're going to call this a crisis, an epidemic, there should never be an empty bed.
The problem you're going to have on that one, just from the stigma attached to it, is people saying that I shouldn't have to pay for somebody else's addiction. That's what, and which I would already rebuttal that by saying you already are.
You already are.
You already are paying for
You're
it.
paying for it in prison sentences,
Emergency room visits,
emergency room visits,
yeah.
in all our cops carrying this and that and dealing with it. You're paying for it in all the theft that's happening.
Yep.
Everywhere you go, you're having to pay more because everybody has to increase their level of security because drug addicts like to steal stuff
That's
to
part
get
of the
their
reason
stuff.
why your insurance is so high too, because all the ones going there without insurance.
Oh, we're all paying this. You know, and not only that, look, I pay for cancer, and I don't have cancer.
Yeah.
I pay for diabetes. I pay for all these people that don't have health insurance. I do this all the time anyway.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but I'd rather pay for the solution than just keep paying for the problem.
I'd rather pay for something that I know can be reduced.
Yeah.
I know this number right here can be reduced. Yeah. I don't know that I don't know that the thing that's going to reduce the diabetes. I don't know the thing that's going to reduce the cancer. So those things we're probably still going to have to pay. You know, there's people without children that still put money into their school systems locally just by being a homeowner. Yeah. So we all pay for things that supposedly we don't use or need, right? The point is this one actually can be reduced. This one can be fixed.
Well, I think that's when they call it a public health crisis because it does. It's a snowball effect. It affects everything. So yeah.
So let's get Will on the phone.
Right on, man.
All right.
He's probably eating a taco right now.
God, man. He goes to California so often, and he gets those good. He always sends me pictures of good tacos when he goes to California.
I'm still waiting on that moment, just so you know.
Which moment?
The moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest taco I've ever had. I'm waiting on that moment.
You're still waiting for that moment, huh?
Well, because you guys keep talking about him like it's going to be like a life-changing moment for me.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
And I've got to
plug this in right. I don't have it plugged in right.
I keep waiting on that moment though, where I have my life-changing experience with a taco.
I'm going to get you a life-changing.
I know it has to be a corn tortilla.
I'm going to give you a life-changing experience with a taco. Don't worry about that.
Hi, this is William.
William, wow! Welcome to the Couch Live, William. I love it.
How you guys doing?
We're doing very well, man. You're on the air live. See, you know when you're see, there's the difference between when I call you and I don't tell you I'm going to call you, and when I tell you I am going to call you.
That's right.
If I didn't tell you I was going to call you, you would say, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Yeah, I've never heard him say. I've never heard William before. Ever.
Is that the way you really answer your phone? Hi, this is William.
Only when I'm live, Louis.
Anyway, how you doing, brother? You doing good?
I'm doing well. Are you?
Yeah, we're doing fantastic over here. I was going on a little rant for a second.
You got Trinity in the house with you?
Yeah,
sure.
Trinity.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Okay, I just want to make sure everything's going to be okay now. So, go ahead.
My blood pressure goes a little bit up sometimes when I get on these little topics. So Trinity's he's not only my bodyguard, but he's also my fitness instructor and my health advisor and, and everything. Trinity's my everything. You're my everything, Trinity.
Wow.
Aw, second to Dana.
I want you to remember that come Christmas time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Will, so we've been talking about, if this is such a crisis and so many addicts are out there in need of treatment, right, and so many people are dying of this, then how come all the facilities aren't filled to capacity? So we've been talking about the post that we did. By the way, I ranted a little bit about some of these groups on Facebook that act like they're there for the people, but they won't let people like us even post a question on their page. They delete it because it doesn't match whatever they're trying to sell. So these fools, I'm going to out them in a little bit, Will. But anyway, don't let me get back off topic. So why do you think these places aren't filled to capacity? Now you're there. You're with Novus Detox, which, by the way, just opened up another facility. Trinity, you didn't go to that either.
No, I wasn't.
That's
invited.
another thing you weren't invited to. I went. I was invited, And so I didn't take Trinity with me. You were probably busy doing something today, that day. But anyway,
I was
Novus
looking for
Detox.
tacos.
Yeah, Novus Detox, which has a place in Newport Richey, actually opened a brand new place with even more beds right there in West Palm. But we'll talk a little bit more of that in a second. So tell us a little bit about what you think about what we've been asking about, Will.
Well, I think, ultimately, you're right. They should be, people should be reaching out, getting help. And, a lot of centers, whether it be, therapists or, rehab centers, detox centers, you would imagine with the crisis that, there'd be a lot more people in for treatment.
Right.
I think there's a lot of factors involved there. I mean, insurance probably being the main factor. There's a lot of, policies that, just won't cover it.
Right.
Second thing is that you have.
Well, let's stay with that for a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by that? Because I think there's a lot of people that think that they have that little card in their pocket, and that little card in their pocket is going to magically get them everything they need if the crisis should ever arise.
Well, I think that understanding that little card in your pocket it's going to be key. I mean, in certain cases, you have in-network, you have out-of-network.
Right.
You have, some of those insurance policies, are great for medical, but not necessarily for substance abuse or mental health.
Right.
They have it compartmentalized, if you will, in terms of the different types of treatment. And then you have, insurance policies or programs that have, very high deductibles, like $10,000.
Right.
And, to, go get help, all they have is the insurance, the insurance card. And they don't have like the $10,000 that's needed with their deductible, which, is the agreement with the insurance company. And, that's what a medical provider as myself or, a rehab center, they have to take that. I mean, they have to get the deductible. So you have that limitation in terms of, they don't have 10 grand, so it's going to be hard for them to find treatment. Now there is treatment that's in network, but it still doesn't negate the fact that in network has a deductible too. So if they absolutely have no money, it's going to be very hard for them to get, the help they need, which is unfortunate, but it is the truth.
And while you're talking about the in-network versus out-of-network, can you speak a little bit about the limitations on the in-network? If, the limitations that the treatment center has, the rules that they have to abide by, the days that you get covered. What is the big difference between the in-network and out-of-network coming from your perspective or from the treatment centers or detox centers' perspective?
Well, I think, ultimately just, historically, in network, you're going to use the providers that are approved and have some type of agreement with the insurance company. Out of network allows you to go anywhere you would like to go.
Correct.
What's going to, be best. Now, there are some great programs that are in network that, if you can, get into them or they take your particular type of insurance in network, there is a fair amount of good, solid treatment. Now, when you get into out of network, it's a little bit different because it's more private,
right? Which
different amenities probably that you may or may not get, in network. And, an example would be, let's take medical detox.
Right.
We're an out of network provider. And as an out of network provider, people will come with their private insurance and they'll come in and they'll have deductibles in some cases, in most cases, but I'm going to, there are things like, you got the medication, a nice room, the food, the vitamin IVs that we offer in line with our medication and different things like that, where you typically will not get that type of, full treatment within an in-network provider, because an in-network provider has a contracted fee, and they're going to say, this is the length that we're going to pay for this segment of service, whether it be residential, et cetera. And that's what you get. Right. Where what I found with the out-of-network policies is that, an insurance company will say, okay, we'll go up to this point. Medical necessity is always the key word. But it's going to be just a little bit more inclusive, and don't take this conversation as you're going to get, better therapists, you're going to get better, treatment going out of network versus in network.
Right.
I think you're just going to get a higher quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think what's important to note here as well is that the protocols are also sometimes mandated. Like, these are the protocols we
Correct.
accept. This is these are the medications that we approve of. Like you said, this is the length of stay we approve of. And then if you try to go against that in any way, like hold the person longer, let's go that route. If you try to hold the person longer than the insurance company is willing to pay, what is the threat or the risk the treatment center is having to to that in-network contract?
Well, being an out-of-network provider, I don't know all the logistics,
Right.
For us. And I think in-network or out-of-network, an insurance company can say, that's all the service we're going to pay for, step them down.
Right.
Whether it be, IOP or outpatient detox or whatever the case is. And it's going to be up to the provider to, I just know personally from, what we do is that I'm not going to put a person that has 1 or 2 days left on their detox
Right.
out on the street sick, because just the human factor, right?
Right.
Now, when you get into in-network again, you have, there are, schedules and policies and procedures that you're following. And I don't know those enough in detail, but I've seen it happen.
Right.
I've seen it where they cut them like after 14 days. But I've seen that on out of network as well. So it's not.
Yeah, but the difference is you don't get penalized if you're an out of network provider and do it, but you can risk your contract or losing your contract if you're an in-network provider. And we've interviewed in-network providers here on the Couch Live, and they've indicated that. They just won't say the specific insurance company, but they've said the threat is that if you get caught holding someone longer than that what they say, you can lose your contract. And so
wow.
that's
I
to have
I
them
didn't know that. And plus it's on, I don't understand that. It's on their dime. I mean, the insurance company's not going to pay them anymore, but
Right.
if they elect to keep them, I don't know why that would be
Right.
a problem. But again, I mean, it's whatever they signed up for,
Right.
or, what the contract is, but that's unfortunate completely.
So what's another barrier that you see other than the correct insurance coverage or having insurance coverage?
Well, I think, ultimately, individuals being concerned with their privacy. Look, I mean, you have scenarios where, you have a small business guy that has to transfer payroll every week or, do conference calls trying to keep the livelihood up for his 40 employees or, whatever the case is. And, it's tough for him to quote unquote, disappear for 90 days.
Right.
So I think in some cases that where you have that scenario, it kind of prevents them from actually getting, and when I say help, I mean, I'm talking about a full continuum of care. I'm talking about, getting a proper detox and getting a proper treatment. That may be a rehab center, that may be a private therapist. I mean, that could be a number of things, what's right for the individual. But in a lot of cases, going into a full residential treatment, and I say in a lot of cases because it's not true across the board. Some of them actually have executive programs where the individual can and will run their business, et cetera, from treatment. But I also get the fact that this is about them, and that to be on their phone all day or on a laptop, it's just not conducive to their long-term sobriety, so to speak. So. Yeah, you have that mix, and then, and if you don't have insurance, or your insurance does have that $10,000 deductible and maybe $30,000 out of pocket,
right?
Then finding a good solid program which the person can afford, and it's not and anybody that's been in this business for a long time, has been around it or in recovery themselves, know that quite frankly, in my opinion, 28 days isn't enough. I mean, I think there needs to be, And how you do that, it needs to be longer. And how you do that can vary. That could be, a residential program, with IOP, and then getting a life coach or whatever it is to coach them through the rest of it. But and staying connected and going along with the 12-step and AA and getting a sponsor and it's I'm kind of always to the what works kind of thing. I mean, if somebody just asked me this question the other day, well, are you pro this? Are you pro that? I said, I'm pro what works for the individual.
Right on.
And I think ultimately if the guy needs to, go to AA and go to a few meetings a week, so he, stays sober and doesn't treat his wife bad or his kids bad, then he needs to go to 3 meetings a week. I mean, if that's what's working, let's go with that, right? That's kind of where I'm at on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it is individualized. And I think I wouldn't call it a barrier. I would call it more of a, just understanding what the options are. I mean, everybody's different. Their issues are different. What they're doing is different. How they're doing it's different. And I think that in some cases it can get a little bit overwhelming for people. They go on the internet and look for treatment and everything kind of comes across as the same.
Yeah.
But it's not, it can't be that way because it's got to be, individualized, and it's got to be to that individual and to his family and to his life and to his problems, not to, one shoe doesn't fit everybody. I guess that's my stance. I mean, that's our approach in detox,
right?
Is you individualize the treatment and you're going to have a higher success rate. If you're doing it on like a conveyor belt, if you will, like you're going to go do this and do this and do this and do this, well, then you're going to end up not having, you're going to have some success. I'm not saying it's unsuccessful, but you're going to have some success, but, probably not as much as if you actually dealt with them individually. It's like therapy. You can't you're not going to counsel somebody or do therapy with somebody based on what you did with the last person, right? It's going to be geared to them.
You would hope. You would hope.
Yeah, you would hope.
You would hope. And what about the negative press? Have you felt any hit because of the negative press?
Yeah, you kind of always do. And then Google, cutting off all the advertising the way they did. And, I hear from sources I know that they're developing policies on this, and I'll wait to see them. I haven't seen anything in writing or heard anything on a definite date. I think the negative press is that's always that's going to hurt. But unfortunately, it's going to hurt some really good programs because that's part of the problem we have. I mean, you can look, and yes, there's probably some programs that should be addressed the way they're being, dealt with, by all means. But there are a lot of great programs, and some are doing well, some are doing okay. But what's unfortunate is that you take these good programs that have actually been helping people for a long time and doing great work, and it's individualized, and they got great success, and then you have the media or the press again generalizing an entire state going, it's bad, which is actually, it's actually not true. The truth is there's bad in any state and in any field. Mm-hmm. But then again, you take a look and, looking at it from, a logistics end, I go, okay, well, what's bad? And you can say, okay, overbilling for UAs and doing this and doing, okay, well, yeah, that is bad. I mean, or, it could be insurance fraud, I mean, we have laws and different things like that, but it doesn't mean that the people that are actually doing everything right are bad.
Right.
So it's, so that's kind of the unfortunate piece of it. And I see it a lot, programs that have been, solid, they've been around for years and they're struggling because mainstream media says everything in Florida is bad, right? And now they're jumping over to Texas and California, which it's anyway. So I guess, if I was going to sum it up, that's kind of my view on what's going on with the press.
Yeah, and only because now we're in short of time, and here's this, all this is happening, and you were kind of insulated from that over there in Newport Richie with Novus, doing really well with just what, 20, I think what do you have over there, 22 beds?
With 30
beds over there? Okay, and then,
yeah.
So you jump into the belly of the beast in South Florida with all this going on, and you open up, what, 40 beds?
Yeah, we're licensed up to 40, but we'll hold it right around 35.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that you're there, you're probably seeing a lot more of what you just said. In other words, there are some good providers down here. There are some really good places that unfortunately are struggling because of that, not only Florida negative energy, but the South Florida even more so than just regular Florida.
Correct. And it's I use obviously I touched on the word unfortunate. I mean, but as a whole, as a community, we're kind of all if everybody didn't feel they were responsible, they're responsible now, right? Because now they're being
Right.
accountable.
Right.
So it's very, it's one of those things where, if you know something like that's happening, then you got to help to do something about it.
Right.
Right. And so like you touched on, and that I had mentioned, is that I've met programs that have been around here for years. And have great names. They have great reputation, and I've been in there, and I've watched their patients and watched them evolve and do real well. And their alumni groups are great. Smiles on the faces, the whole bit. You just look and you go, that's just completely unfortunate, because that's actually what treatment's all about, right there. Right. So but as a community, I mean, it's kind of like. You look at it with the insurance issues, and I've heard it from a number of people that even within network, they're cutting the rates like in half.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and it's like these guys aren't the guys I'm talking about aren't out in Bentleys or anything like that. They're actually truly helping people.
Yeah. And
you got to stay afloat, and so I don't think enough importance, or and it could just be enough understanding from maybe the insurance companies, et cetera, are looking and saying, okay, here's a program that's doing great. Why would I not put this client in here for 90 days? Right. And or I can put him over here to anyone I want, and maybe he gets 30 days, and maybe it's unfortunate he relapses or does something like that. Then I got to put him in another 30-day program. So I think education from a large view, an overlooking view of like with the insurance companies going, hey, look, it's a great program. It's helped a lot of people. And this is what's needed to do that. But I don't think, I haven't seen it to where the insurance companies care, or anybody's actually went in and cared about that, going, hey, okay, so how are you doing this? What are you doing? Let me see your success rates. Let me see this. And I really think that needs to be done. That's what I do. Right. We refer people to, treatment after detox, and I go visit every one of them. I usually talk to their clinical team. I make sure the place, looks good. I look at the results, and then and only then. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, why doesn't everybody do that? I guess is my opinion or my view on it. And if they did that, then I think we'd have a better understanding of what's happening. But
I think, unfortunately, recidivism pays, unfortunately. And some people. So.
Right. And so, and like I said, there's a lot of great treatment here in South Florida. There's a lot of it.
We're talking to Will Wesch from Novus Detox. And Will, we really appreciate you. We know you're busy. And before we go, I also wanted to say thank you, because not only are they growing and expanding and now built that beautiful place down in West Palm that I went and saw, but they are one of our major sponsors for our golf tournament every year.
Ever since the first one.
Yeah. Will was only on the winning team the first year, though, when he had Derek with him, because he hasn't been on a winning team ever since.
Yeah, I can't win them all. I got to, somebody might get suspicious.
Yeah, spread it around.
I can probably assure you based on I've seen who's coming, who's teamed up on this next one, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to win that one either. So
I think the guess is that the Rivermen team is going to win this year. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I probably that would be a pretty good guess.
Right. So I'm hoping Novus Detox team does well.
We'll see.
But
we'll get. Hey, man, listen, we love what you're doing. You're helping people in need that don't have the finances. And,
thank you.
We're going to support that, because that's what we're about. And look, your event's always fun. We have a great time, and so it's win or lose. We're going to have a great time.
Right on.
For sure.
Well, thank you very much. Please say hi to Bryn for me out there and Kent.
Will do.
We thank you very much, and we'll see you very shortly, man.
I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Looking to hook up with you and Trinity, and now we got to find a good taco place over there.
There you
That's
go.
on you this time.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, I'm gonna find one, and we're gonna go.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, brother.
Okay, man.
Hermano, thank you very much. Thanks. That's Will West for Nova. Hey, Will.
Yeah.
How can they reach you if they want to go to Novus Detox or learn more about it? Can you just shout that out real quick?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you can go to novusdetox.com, 800-505-6604. That will get you into our specialists that can explain anything or answer any questions you may have. And if you needed additional information, we go from there.
Right on. Thank you, Will. Talk to you.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, guys.
All right, again, that was Will West from Novus Detox. Fantastic. I always like talking to him because Will tells it to you straight, but he says it a lot more professionally than I do. I would say. What do you think?
Well, I think that he with other people touch. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah,
but
man.
Just really quickly.
That time went fast.
It did
today.
go. I think another thing that people touched on that I'm surprised I didn't hear a lot of.
What was that?
Because I do believe that one of the biggest barriers to treatment, other than money, is people just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to get somebody in the treatment. They don't know how to navigate that system.
You know what? I don't think anybody said that. Oh, no, one person.
One person did.
One person
did. And I don't think enough people really kind of touched on that.
I think you're right, Trinity.
But the problem is I don't think people know that until it's too late.
Yeah.
I don't think they know that until after they've already realized, I need to get somebody in treatment. Right. I don't know how to do this.
Right.
So.
And speaking of too late, Trinity.
It is too late.
We're out of time, brother.
We are.
All right. So, we have nothing left. The golf tournament, March 19th. It's going to be a fantastic event. We got some great things I wish we could talk about, but we're going to talk about them next week. All right, Trinity? Is that cool?
Sir. Let's do it.
All right. Other than that, adios, amigos. Time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.